Well, right now, there are lawmakers in the state that are facing federal charges, and that's prompting concerns over corruption, the General Assembly's ability to keep its colleagues in check as well. And joining us today is Illinois State Senator Jason Barickman, who just proposed a bill that would make sure that lawmakers can't at least get in the way of starting an investigation. So we're talking about the Inspector General's office. Illinois has an Inspector General whose job is literally to investigate whether or not there is official misconduct if a complaint comes in. But currently,
she's the watchdog.
But she cannot actually do that or start unless a group of lawmakers give the okay. You don't think that's right and you want to change it?
Yes, it defies common sense. And the notion of having an Inspector General is there to provide oversight, to be the watchdog. If there's an allegation of misconduct of a lawmaker, where do you go? You go to the Inspector General. The reality is, for years we've been complaining about this lack of independence that exists there. It's not the person who's in the office. It's the rules that limit the office. And for a long time we have been saying that you have to bring independence to the office. You have to empower this person to make investigations based on based on what's been brought forward to that person, and let them investigate that independent of what lawmakers may think. The current law says it's a woman that occupies the office today. The current law says that if she wants to bring an investigation forward, maybe there's been a complaint filed, or she's read the news, right? All these legislators who've been arrested. If she wants to pursue an investigation, she has to get the blessing of lawmakers before she can do that. So I said, take that away, take that step away. Second, she has subpoena powers. Subpoena, the ability to compel people to show up and provide testimony or to produce documents. Under the current law, she has to ask permission to use that subpoena power. And I think that's, again, I think that's wrong. I think the public, given the news of today, but also given the news of Illinois historically, the corruption that exists suggests that we can't police ourselves, that we're incapable of doing that. And so we need to relinquish the control we have over policing ourselves, give all the authority necessary to this independent Inspector General, and let them do their job. Let them do their investigations. There should be, without any favor to anyone, let the chips fall where they may.
And speaking specifically, you're talking about when she has to get that okay, that's from the Legislative Ethics Commission, which is comprised of a small group of lawmakers. I believe it's 8 is the number. And I was sitting there thinking about, is there any thoughts on changing how that group is even formed? Because what happens in a situation, like right now we have a few different scandals, if we have time we'll get into that, where somebody on that board, on that commission, is a major supporter or friend with one of the people in the scandal, and now they're in charge. They're not the ones of the scandal, but they're in charge of giving the okay. Is there any thought process to changing how that commission is formed?
Yeah, yes. There will be continued efforts to bring in lots of reforms, I think. Now, whether the majority of the legislature wants to do those, I don't know. I certainly do. You're absolutely correct. There's 8 members of the General Assembly today who have this power over the Legislative Inspector General, who she investigates and whether she subpoenas. There's inherent conflicts of interest that exist here. What if the person who's the subject of the investigation is also a member of the Ethics Commission who gives the okay? That conflict is not resolved under the laws today. We need to fix that. What if the person who's made the allegation is an employee of the person who's on the commission, right? I mean, there's so many structural problems. But here's why the proposal that I put forward, I introduced yesterday, has these 2 things that I said, we got to do these right now. We're in the fall veto session, and there's this cloud that looms over the state at this moment. Our Legislative Inspector General said, I need 2 things. Give me the approval, give me the subpoena power, and do it right now. She asked for that, so I said, let's do that right now.
All right, and just really quick oversight, when you're talking about that cloud, you got State Rep Louis Arroyo, who has accusations of bribing a state senator. You got State Senator Tom Cullerton pleaded not guilty.
He was arrested, right?
And he pleaded not guilty to federal embezzlement charges. You have another senator, Martin Sandoval, been raided, his home and offices, though no charges yet. So a lot of things happening right now when we're talking about this process of the Inspector General being able to look into any of these scandals without having other lawmakers give the okay. As always, Jason Barickman, thank you for coming on, and of course we'll continue to follow what happens with that proposal.
Thanks, Eugene.
All right, absolutely. We'll be right back.